This is my first time doing a voiceover, and it's the coolest thing.
There's a great deal of trust that you have to give over to the animators.
And my job is the voice.
Problem is...
What? Tell me.
How to tackle a cartoon.
I don't know.
Do it the best you can.
I have this really beautiful mask that looks a bit like the Thrax in the film. I needed some kind of physical change to happen.
Woo!
What you try and look for with a voice actor in animation is someone who can create a personality on a sonic level, because it gives a lot for the animators to work with.
The voice is really the backbone of the performance in animation. And Chris has got a great voice. The way he acts and, just his little looks is totally in the film, I think.
My name is Osmosis Jones.
We have a pretty good roster of improvisational comics.
If you can get us out of this, I will never, ever pleasant.
When we got Chris Rock, he just went off.
If you get us out of this, I will never badmouth the Surgeon General again. You got my word on it.
He came up with things left and right. A lot of the stuff that's in the movie is improvised.
I'm probably ad-libbing about a good 30% of the stuff. How the hell do they let these people keep bringing in pollen pods? You can say anything. Anything can happen. They'll draw it around you.
We had a video camera running to film him while he's working.
What's today's date?
And we gave those tapes to the animators, and they studied them. And they managed to work the little quirky things that he does into the animation. So the character itself, the design, it's not like a caricature of Chris Rock, but you see him sort of shining through the drawings.
Relax. This baby was built to last. Solid cartilage.
Oh, you're an engineer now. Excuse me.
Everybody says that looks like David Hyde Pierce.
I am.
It might be just an eyebrow raised or a deadpan look. With any character, you try and get the essence of the voice.
Inflammation, glandular swelling. We meet again.
And try to get some of that personality into the character.
To create a lot of the facial expressions, we have got this facial animation window box, and there is libraries of different sounds. As we drag certain boxes, they create different expressions.
Oh! And it's funny because we've got this big capsule who to the other cells is like this big death machine. And everybody's expecting an action hero voice. So let's go the other way.
Agent Strixobenzomethamphetamine.
Let's get a very neurotic voice. And it'd be kind of fun because, maybe the pill's a hypochondriac.
That's right. Strixinol, the brand that eases your coughs and sneezes. Warning, do not exceed recommended dosage. If symptoms persist, consult a physician.
Wow, I'm feeling better already.
And that also was part of the fun for me, is that the physical embodiment of the character is very different from the kind of thing that I usually get to play. So it's really an opportunity for me to stretch vocally and also just to inhabit a character that most people wouldn't cast me in.
One of the producers said to me afterwards, I understand why you picked him now, because he's the whitest white man I've ever met.
I received my FDA certification in cold and flu studies, as well as a master's in multi-symptom relief.
He really does go to Mozart concerts afterwards, and Chris really comes in with, Puff Daddy on his earphones.
Where did you study?
Study? When you grow up on the wrong side of the digestive tract, you don't got no money for no fancy school.
Oh. And it was by listening to what they were doing that I was able to figure out what the appropriate approach to Thrax would be, what the appropriate kind of vocal place to be in. It's really, really a very, very interesting kind of process.
Fire. There's a lot of great actors who are voices that don't have much musicality to them, but they act visually. And Laurence not only acts visually, but his voice has a great tonality to it.
You are looking fine today.
And he brought, an intensity to the character.
And that was the most difficult and challenging part, was to come in and try to create a character that was being put together as you went, voice and them sort of drawing things. It was almost this sort of simultaneous kind of experiment that was going on, where I was sort of experimenting here in the studio with the guys, and then the artists were also experimenting with what they were hearing from me, and it was really mind-blowing. It was really beautiful.
An animated feature with other people would have been like doing a radio play. I never got to play with anybody else.
Not now, Leah. I have a body to run.
It was always me thinking through somebody else's line.
But you made it work.
Every move that you make, they bring the character to life with your movement, so that's a scary thing. So all the while I'm doing my lines, I'm watching my movement so I can have some type of cool thing going on when the movie is shown. Wow, I'm still jonesing for a little more osmosis.